Early in my self improvement journey, I made some drastic habit and lifestyle changes overnight. And I believe in the current era, it's what's called health maxing or wellness maxing. I began aiming for 8 hours of sleep, track all of my calories intake, and every morning I went to the roof to see the sunrises over the horizon, just like what Andrew Huberman said we all should do. I also became hyper aware of BPAs in plastic to the point where I was having an anxiety attack whenever I touch a receipt or a bill after my purchase because I heard those things filled with BPAs. And I even goes as far as consuming overpriced supplements that doesn't really do much or anything at all and that I couldn't afford at that time. And I started doing all of this after I came across podcasters and supposed biohackers and fitness influencers such as Andrew Huberman, Peter Attia, Leo Longevity, More Place, More Dates, and many of the self-improvement gurus like Hamza's as well. And some of these people are actually in the Epstein files too, so it's kind of funny. But anyway, after consuming this so-called wellness content, I found myself finding excuses to skip a workout due to quote-unquote suboptimal situation that made me think something like, if I work out now, it wouldn't make a dent because I haven't eaten anyway, or I didn't get 8 hours of sleep last night, so lifting would be waste of time because I'm not going to optimally train. And if you ever had thoughts like this, you should stop aiming for perfection and optimality because they don't really exist and you'll never reach the optimum point. So you should stop aiming for optimality because it's just not gonna happen. And if it does, then you will find another area that seems suboptimal to you. My obsession didn't stop there. I became obsessed with health data and metrics. It all started when I came across the quantified self movement. And if you don't know, the quantified self movement is a movement to incorporate technology into data acquisition on aspects of a person's daily life in terms of inputs like calories consumed, quality of surrounding air, the amount of water drank, and states such as mood, arousal, blood oxygen level, sleep quality, and performance, like how you would track your fitness progress, like tracking your gym and running logs. And fitness influencers like Peter Attia and Andrew Huberman promote self quantification as one of these type of biohacking. And oh yeah, I forgot to mention Brian Johnson's as well. They promote self quantification as one of the step of biohacking and improving one's health, and most of them are affiliated with the health tracking devices that they use, and they're definitely not worth the money in my opinion because they are really expensive. And even if you got those devices, like what are you gonna do with the data anyway? Like how would that improve your life in any way? I think these type of devices are hyper commodity. One could went through their life without using any of these devices and nothing will happen to them. And the problem is that these influencers made it seems like you need them to survive, to live a healthy life, and that's obviously not the case. They use fear tactics and hyper optimum conditions for sleep, such as optimal temperature, optimal light, and etc., as the bare minimum condition. And one of the example of the devices is Aura Ring. And if you don't know what Aura Ring is, it's basically a device that measures biometrics. I don't know what's it's called, bio scores, sleep scores, essentially. And the way they do it, you can watch a video by Scott Carney here where he talks about the Aura Ring. And if you don't want to watch it, then it's basically a device that records your sleep scores. And my question is, like, what would you do with those sleep scores? Like, what can you do with them? Let's say you wake up feeling refreshed in the morning, but when you check your sleep score, you got a bad sleep score. Like, are you gonna base your mood entire day on your sleep score now? That is not what you should be doing. And based on my experience, like the more and more I was exposed to his self-quantification contents, and the more and more I quantified myself, I realized that all of these extra headaches, doing all of the tracking, the most like minuscule things are clips here, not doing anything positive to my life. It doesn't add anything to my life, And if anything, it made me super paranoid and anxious about my own health. And this phenomenon is not exclusive to me. I can recall a YouTuber that made video on Brian Johnson, and he began to have this dread of losing sleep and not having a good sleep score. So that's kind of funny. And yeah, you can see the
thinking about not dying all the time is definitely making me go a little bit crazy.
In some crucial ways, living such a disciplined, data-driven life might have been affecting my health negatively. I became obsessed with my metrics and bitterly annoyed when they didn't seem to react with the changes I was making. Measuring my sleep so intensely was also keeping me up at night. I started to get frustrated when I wouldn't go to sleep immediately and ended up lying on the sofa, scrolling through my health metrics.
I ended up calling a doctor for an appointment yesterday because of a red dot on my nose that's been there for years, it turns out. I went back and watched a few old videos and realised that red dot has been on my fucking nose for over a year. But I saw it in the mirror and I started getting freaking out, thinking it was a fucking cancer or something, so I called a doctor about it. Yeah. So there is definitely some downsides to trying not to die every second of your life. Psychological ones. Probably physical ones too, because I'm not fucking sleeping.
After a few weeks of actively trying to bring my blood pressure down with diet and an overcommitment to cardio, my blood pressure reading actually went up, leading to this embarrassing and genuinely unstaged tantrum. Maybe it was all those years of door-dashing fried chicken to my sofa, or maybe it was my mostly sedentary lifestyle as a slavish content.
Because sleep is not something that you can control. Of course, you can control when you go to the bed and when you close your eyes, but falling asleep in of itself, it's out of your control. And so the more you try to sleep, as in actively trying to fall asleep, the more you are going to struggle falling asleep because you're more hyper aware of the state you are in, And many people reported that they began having trouble falling asleep after, ironically, trying to sleep better. And, it's similar to the fashion of performance anxiety. Like, the more effort you put into doing something, the more you're going to be anxious about doing it. And if you're nervous, it's not gonna yield the best result. That's why you cannot be nervous when you're trying to, let's say, do any sport performance, really. Like, you cannot be nervous, you have to keep calm. And so when I stopped caring so much about how long do I sleep. I started to sleep like a baby, and like I don't really care how many hours I sleep. Like I don't stress over getting 8 hours of sleep anymore. And before that, like if I thought that if I don't get 8 hours, like I'm screwed. You know, my life is over, and you know that's not the case. You know, right as of right now, like I don't really count how long did I sleep. So you know, it makes me less stress, and I don't really get the quote unquote negative effect from not getting 8 hours of sleep, or at least not counting the amount of hours I sleep. And I think that is true freedom. To put salt into the wound, I was a broke college student while all of these were happening. So like imagine the stress of not having the means to get the overpriced supplements and quantification devices. You know, I didn't feel like I have enough things, even though I had all of my needs covered. Like, to close this video, if you find yourself unable to enjoy life because all of these arbitrary metrics, then I suggest you to chill out, take a deep breath, and reflect on why you do the things that you do in the first place. And if you find this video informative, please like and subscribe and turn on the notification, and comment what you think down below if you have any similar experience. So yeah, my last message is to not to care if you're experiencing what I experienced, then you should just try to chill out and yeah, stop caring too much. Like it's not that deep. It's not the end of the world. And so yeah, thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Peace. I'm out. Bye.